get back to London. And I am staying at the Mina Hotel, which, if that's not a sign from Dracula getting rid of the freaking bloodsuckers, parasites in my life, that's what I'm here doing. And I came to this little Italian kind of place that they had vegan and gluten-free pasta and sourdough vegan pizzas. So I was intrigued. So I came in, I actually got some zoodles, zucchini noodles with smoked salmon and spinach and garlic and lemon in a vegan herb sauce with a side salad and olives and a hot tea and a small glass of red wine. So, I really wanted some fresh vegetables. I feel like I've been eating, that this vacation I've allowed myself, it's not, but yes, it's a vacation. Life should be a vacation, right? It's not about how hard we have to work. It's about doing what brings us joy and what is putting us in service. And I've had the best last couple of days with just meeting spiritual people and meeting people who are open to the message that I have to share. And I got the best reading from this energy healer the other day. Being in Amsterdam, I went to 3 different ecstatic dance events while I was there for 4 or 5 days. Thank you. And thank you so much. May I have a little lemon with the tea as well, please? Thank you. All right, my tea, my olives, my wine here. The ecstatic dance events. I mean, just the healing that is happening in those places, in those events, in those spaces. And, it's just so fulfilling and so rewarding, and being in an environment. Thank you so much. Yes, and the salad too. That looks delicious. May I just have some silverware? Silverware. Thank you. Utensils, whatever. So between the events that I was at, I had the first night. Hey lady, thank you so much. Beautiful couple of healers come up and talk to me. Thank you, Yeshua. Oh my God. Thank you, olives. Thank you, radishes. Thank you, onions. Thank you, spinach and greens and lemons and honey and tea and grapes for the wine. Grapes from the vine. I don't drink much anymore, and actually this vacation is the first time that I've had anything in a long time, and it's just been wine, a couple glasses here and there, like one here. This is the first time I've had any since actually the last time I was in London. So last week I had some rosé with lunch one day. Nice long European lunch, had a glass of wine. Like, it's about the moderation. But anyway, back to cheers. Ceremonial. I had this great conversation with one gentleman about the absolute brainwashing in our world. And he was from Amsterdam. And was just like, we put the show on that we're free everywhere. And we have plant medicine and for the people. It was like, but the governmental control is ridiculous. So I'm interested in looking into that more. And then there were trash cans open everywhere. Like, I kept shoving trash back into trash cans and closing them, walking around the streets in Amsterdam. And I asked my friend Paul about it. So I'm chewing and talking, but this is what happens when you have a meal with me, when you sit at my table with me. And I said that it became a problem when they started creating recycling programs where you could turn in cans for money. And then homeless people started busting open the trash cans to break everything out so that they could turn in their cans out of the trash that people weren't recycling for money. And it made me remember that I had this conversation with a gentleman the other night who was putting flyers into the mailboxes in Amsterdam about voting. I'm talking about the homelessness and the poverty disparity in Amsterdam. And is there a pasta takeaway? Yes. Thank you. I got my pasta to go. I'm just going to have these here and take the pasta back to this little hotel room that I got down the street. I needed to walk. I needed to get out. I've been on a train for hours. And I'm just like looking around at different restaurants with the feeding people, what's in the streets. It feels like New York, to be honest. I actually kept forgetting for a little bit that I was not in New York, that I was in London. And anyway, so he was talking about, I really want to look into the poverty situation there too. And it just is like, again, in the US, I'm technically homeless. And looking at homeless populations, poverty situations, and what we're feeding people, and just the disparity, this outward portrayal that everything's okay and it's not. Lance just caught with my song of the day, so we're gonna have to we're gonna have to see what that is in a minute. But then it makes me think, like, why do we have to pay people to recycle? Like, good incentive, I guess, but we should just be recycling because it's the right thing to do for Mother Earth, and it's the right thing to do to reuse things instead of just trashing everything and creating more waste and more pollution in this planet. But then we monetize everything, and when we monetize it, it turns into more of a mess. Well, it's like now these trash cans are all busted open and there's trash all over the street because they monetized recycling instead of just having people recycle. Now there's more trash everywhere. It's just so indicative of what we do to our planet, what we do to each other. We monetize everything. It's not valuable, if it's not worth it, if we can't make money off of it. That's what happened to me in my marriage. That's what I was taught growing up. My value was low unless we were contributing financially, or I was constantly reminded of how much it costs for me to exist or for me to do stuff. So why are we doing that to our children? It creates just this huge issue with money. It creates a huge issue with value, self-valuation. I literally believe that I wasn't worth anything if I'm not generating income. Bullshit. And then I had a great conversation with this guy on the train today, sat next to me, Charlie. Such a little inspiration. Doing a year studying abroad in London. And we talked about his history of theater in London class. Had a great conversation about organized religion. I referred to Yeshua, and he goes, I actually really appreciate that you called him Yeshua. We just did this whole, he's like, I listened to this lecture about how the name Jesus actually came from a whole Greek derivation of Zeus. And then I realized, looking up something else about Quakers, that the term radical means getting back to the roots of our faith. So what are the roots of Christianity? Because spiritualism and mysticism are directly tied in. Jesus was a mystic. Yeshua was a mystic. So was Mary Magdalene. She's loving priestess. We taught magic is real. Energy is everything. What magic is your energy. I got sidetracked here. I got sidetracked because I was talking about, very good, thank you. The salad is very good. It's got radishes, pickled onions, mixed greens, and oil and vinegar. I feel like there was something else in here. Garlic. Nope. My happy salad dance. So I got sidetracked talking about the ecstatic dance event because surrounded by spiritual people moving energy through their bodies and tapping into stuff. The first night was just transformative. It was amazing. It was like my ancestors were coming through my body. And the African dance, the DJ was incredible. It was a journey. I had to look him up. I followed him on his YouTube channel. And sent some stuff on Instagram. And then the second night, it was actually the same DJ that I saw this morning. Very different vibes, different locations. The second night it was a little different. But it was cool. He worked in some like classical music and opera into ecstatic dance, which I loved. And that's where I had the conversations about the freedom in Amsterdam and psychological manipulation in the world. And those of us who are autistic are really just, we've lived these traumatic lives and have this special gift of seeing patterns. And before we left, this beautiful woman, Sonia, came up. She gave me this necklace, this citrine crystal, before she left. And she just pulled me aside and she was like, you are a labradorite. You are rainbow energy. We have to learn to turn it up and dim it and protect ourselves and reparent yourself and stop hiding your rainbow energy. And I was just so incredibly touched. Cried, you know, all the relief. And she gave me a really nice co-regulation and blessing. And then this morning, while dancing, I got hit with this song and I literally just started crying. Thinking about being away from my girls, knowing that it's part of my surrender right now. It's all gonna be okay. And I started stretching. Because I get this knot on my masculine side, on my right side. And I was stretching it out, and I'm kind of crying, and this woman comes up to me and just literally starts giving me Reiki and just starts like pulling energy off of me and giving me an energy clearing. And it was so incredible. Then I ended up dancing with this guy. He literally hit me in the head at the beginning of the dance. If that's not spirit going, pay attention. I don't know what it is. And he looked just like one of my ex-boyfriend's dads. He looked like my high school sweetheart's dad, who used to be barefoot all the time. And my mom used to think it was so strange that he was barefoot all the time. And now I know he was just grounded, like literally looking to be a free spirit. He was trying to ground, he never wore shoes. He actually had an incident. I think I was in college, maybe. I was in college. But I don't think my ex and I were together anymore at that point. But his dad had a heart attack in the car while driving with one of his kids in the car. I mean, he had been overweight. But it was a wake-up call. And he started taking care of himself, lost a ton of weight, was doing better with his eating. And this guy that I danced with looked so much like him, but he was kind of short. become heavier. And at first I wasn't sure whether he'd be able to support me, but he really let me trust him, and I surrendered to doing some lifts and inversions with him. It was showing me a different side of a healed masculine, because my ex's dad, while we got it together with the physical health, at least when I knew him, it was very much of the like be a man kind of attitude with his son, and he used to give him a hard time for anything that he did that my ex, he considered my ex to be effeminate. And he like got his ear pierced and he called him gay. He got a henna tattoo on his shoulder when we were in senior week, and like just little things like that that his dad made fun of him for, like picked on him for, told him weren't manly. And it makes me think, look at what dads are doing to sons, what moms are doing to daughters, and vice versa. What's the message we're giving our kids? If you get your ear pierced, you're gay. You don't realize what kind of psychological play that has on your kids. It's what we as parents have to change so that our children don't have to relive the trauma that we did through as far as our self-worth and our self-valuation. And being individuals. Like, ear piercings are in ancient tradition have nothing to do with your sexuality whatsoever, and can actually be, depending on how much you're putting in it, a link to spirit if you're putting copper or crystals or something in there. So it just took someone from my past that I was felt uncomfortable around and embarrassed around, and put me in a situation where I trusted them again. And then we sat down at the end and we're talking. And the way ecstatic dance goes in most like journeys, depending upon how long it is, they take you through varying levels of music, and kind of at the end you're calming down, going into a meditative state. And we were just kind of sitting, holding and breathing and co-regulating with each other. And I was humming on his shoulder to the music, which was beautiful. At the end, the first thing he said was, "You humming on my shoulder was so healing, and it really evoked something in me that I needed to let out and release. So thank you so much for that." And then he just continued to talk to me about what beautiful gifts I have and not hiding. And I've been looking at going to Sedona and looking for places to potentially live out there and doing some crystal work in the desert, looking for my tribe, my high vibe tribe, my cannabis tribe, my plant medicine tribe, my crystal yoga, chanting, singing tribe. Of course, he's like, "I'm getting ready to go out to Sedona for this retreat, and I know lots of people." It's just, I have his information because he didn't have his phone, so Spirit puts me in a situation where it's up to me to reach out for the opportunities that get put in front of you. If you take them, who knows where it could go. Another U.S. connection to ecstatic dance, medicine healing that I'm interested in creating community and getting involved in community with. And I met him in Amsterdam at an ecstatic dance event. What are the chances? There's no accident. So it's just been an all in all good day. And Charlie was sweet on the train. He was just like, I don't really get a chance to often speak to people who are very spiritually in tune, and I want to ask you some questions. And we just had some really great conversations about organized religion, about transgender community, about the energies that are happening in the world today, and how we're just so flip-flopped in our masculine and feminine energies, and it's been done on purpose to keep us at odds with each other. Instead of everybody figuring out getting along, the disagreement doesn't have to mean division. Like, we don't have to agree on everything to find a way to coexist. But we've been put on this existence where we've been misled about what unconditional love is, and the religious systems, the governmental systems, education, big pharma, medical, financial systems have all been put in place to literally keep us focused on materialism and money and forget the value of a human life. I was literally excommunicated by my blood family and by my ex and his family for questioning their religion and their actual values that they live based on what they speak about their religion. And my family, who is leftist liberal, claiming I'm culturally appropriating shamanism and not wanting to air out dirty laundry of trauma in the family. My Uncle Glenn was Bruno. What's the movie Encanto? The Disney movie? We don't talk about Bruno. I'm Bruna. My Uncle Glenn was Bruno. I'm Bruna. They don't talk about me anymore. Because I was one of the ones that basically served everybody my entire life as a healer, not realizing that's what I was doing. And when I finally am like, this isn't okay, the way we treat each other and the way we're behaving. Nobody wants to talk about the drama. These are good. I just got a message that the cards are calling me. Blackjack cards as well as tarot cards. Spirit sends all kinds of messages. And olives, salad, tea. We got some zoodles with salmon and spinach to take back to the hotel room. I'm gonna take a nice hot shower, do a little journaling, do a little reading before bed, and then we're gonna get on the train to Glastonbury tomorrow morning because that's where Avalon was. We're gonna spend the whole day there and finish up this liberation tour and go back home and dig in. But at the core of all of this is natural healing. Why does natural have to be bad? Why is natural something we have to fight for and look for? Things start out natural and then we process them and then repackage them and sell them. Why aren't we just leaving it natural to begin with? But I'm searching for found family now because I'm the black sheep. So you're the black sheep too. There's a reason, and most of us have been put into these lives of trauma. 1313 is my lucky number. We've been put into these lives and we've agreed to come to earth in these lives of trauma to crack us open so that we could be here to recognize what's going on in our world and help reset reality for everybody else and help anchor new life. So, with the natural healing that our ancestors used, with a modern twist, because we have learned some things. We've learned some improvement. I was watching Jake Wan on Instagram the other day and it really clicked for me. He was talking about how Lemuria fell because they were too focused on the spiritual and didn't anchor in the human experience. And Atlantis fell because it was so far into the technology that we lost our empathy and compassion and the human connection, which is where we've been heading right now. But we're in this position where we're anchoring, we're combining the two and anchoring the earth by including the spirituality with the human experience and using technology to our advantage instead of letting it take over. But we got to get rid of the materialism and focus on money and recognizing that we don't have to work hard to be abundant, and that the harder we work to make more money, we're just feeding into the system of elites that have a monopoly on everything. You got to follow the money. which is what I've been looking at. So it just, the fear, the control, all of it has been put in place on purpose to help us get out of it. And if you've been excommunicated by your family, if you have gotten out of some traumatic relationships recently, if you're literally just shedding your whole life and starting over, stepping into something new, and you're like, what's happening? You're being called into something greater. And if you're seeing me, it's not an accident. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. I'm an activator, I'm a guide. I'm here to share my story and how I had this absolutely insane, crazy awakening, detox my body. I've lost over 80 pounds in the last, actually I lost it between November and June. So 6-7 months I lost over 80 pounds, and most of it was trauma healing and detoxing my body, because especially in America, our food is so poisoned. I like your moves. More dancing. More public dancing, more joy, more happiness, because it's what we're here for. We're not meant to live in fear and shame and hiding. Alright, I'm about to get out of here, so I'm going to finish this. And I guess the other really big thing that I'm going to work on releasing over here too is the sexual trauma, sexual dysfunction. 1616, I talked about the womb trauma that needs healing, and how we hold trauma in our tissues the same as for our wounds. So when you have had unwanted sexual encounters, or you have had sexual intimacy with somebody who didn't respect your body the way that it deserved as a sacred temple, you're holding trauma in your womb. We also got a bunch of stuff from our ancestors. Thanks, Grandma. Thanks, Grandma. They're like, but we knew you could handle it. Did you? Thank you for that. So we're handling it, and the way that we have to release that is by living a joyful, orgasmic life, and by moving that tissue, which means you have to have orgasms. Right? Nobody likes to talk about it. In order to release that trauma in your womb. 1717. So, I got trauma from my 16s and 17s, from my teenage years, that were working out from people I thought I could trust, that ended up turning things around on me. But it's because, again, they were bred to do so. And when you aren't authentic, like I was not raised to be authentically myself, and I stayed in relationships I didn't want to be in to keep other people happy. And so I made decisions related to my relationships where I was cheating on people because I was in a relationship I didn't want to be in anymore, and cheated on them with someone else. And then the person I was cheating on them with, I made him the other guy. So of course he was mad. So it turned into like a whole big drama thing. That's what happens when you're not authentic. And you know, I just got divorced and getting out of my marriage. I kept so much to myself about my sexual desires, about my sexual pleasure. This retreat I just went to in Belgium was a tantric, shamanic healing retreat as well. She's sweeping the room saying, it's in your hands. Open your eyes. So, if we're all carrying trauma related to sexual assault that we don't necessarily know that we're carrying, because it's coming down from our ancestors heavily, and because of the sexual dysfunction that we've created in our society, that we've normalized casual sex and we're holding on to these wounds. So, yeah, we got to work those out. Been digging into Egyptian sex magic, Christian sex magic, working with oils, relaxing the tissue, and opening up that space again, because that's where our intuition comes from. They don't say trust your gut for no reason. It actually comes from somewhere, because that is like the center of your brain that leads up to spirituality. So when your gut is unhealthy, this is unhealthy. So what do we have to do to get back into our spirituality? Detox our guts, detox our bodies, detox our temples. You got to take out the trash, the toxicity in your life. You got to spill the tea and talk about the truth of what's been going on in your life. And you got to detox the belly. Change our food so that we're cutting out all the poisons and the plastics and the processed stuff, and we're getting back to natural. Right? Sound good? Okay. And let's keep doing that, because that's the healthy stuff that we're on the hunt for. And we're working on it. 2020. And stay on that hunt for the healthy stuff in the world. Get rid of the stuff that isn't healthy. If it's not good for us, why do we have it? I need to take a shower. This hair needs a good cleansing. Maybe I should chop it all off. Okay, well, we're about to get the dinner to go. Take a nice little walk back, walk off with the salad and the olives, and take a shower, sit down, do some posting, do some reading, some singing. I could have danced all night, I could have danced all night, and still have danced some more. Alright, love you, talk later. 2121, bye. Ooh, okay, I'm back for a second because the 2121 just hit with me that the other thing I'm talking about is the alcoholism that we've normalized around the world, but especially in America, and how it's been implemented to keep us numb and dumb. And how we've got bars on every corner, we've got McDonald's fast food on every corner, all these things that are put in place to make life convenient aren't necessarily so convenient for us, and everything's wrapped in plastic. Again, metaphor for what we do to ourselves, what we do to Mother Earth. I literally saw so much trash all over the place. We wrap ourselves in plastic, this plastic smile, plastic parts. Everything is good. Everything's happy. The clothes that we put on our body, our food, we wrap in plastic. And then the microplastics get in everything, and they get stuck in our body. And we gotta flush them out. It's like Mean Girls. The plastics. And what we've normalized as far as alcoholism in the U.S. What are we teaching our kids? That we have to have a drink in our hand all the time? My mom was making me make her drinks for her when I was a kid, because I was raised by an alcoholic, and then I married an alcoholic, and I was an alcoholic for a long time. And I'm having this conversation while I sit here with a glass of wine, because this is the first glass of wine I've had in a week. And before that, the glass of wine I had a week ago was like the first glass of wine I'd had in months. And a year ago, was drinking 2-3 bottles of wine a day, hiding alcohol, to just paint a smile on my face and pretend like everything was all right. And I was married to an alcoholic as well. And I begged for change for a long time, knowing that I probably wasn't going to get it, and knowing that I married someone that I shouldn't have married, that I said yes to somebody that wasn't right for me, and then I tried to change them. Thank you so much. And that's the problem that we have in this country right here in America, is and with women, is that we try to change them. We marry them for potential, we marry them for certain things, but we're not completely happy. It's for family honor, out of convenience, and then we try to change them. Who wants to be with somebody that wants to change them all the time? But I end up with people to appease a group, because I like a group of people, so not to upset the balance of the group, and out of a sense of responsibility. And this whole time that I've been with my ex and unhappy, he's also been kept from being with his person. I wasn't with my person, and I kept him from being with his person too by saying yes to him. And it was really just a trauma bond. And what happened to us is okay. The lies that is not okay. What the lies that were told about me and used against me in court are not okay. The U.S. court system that we have that normalized alcoholism and sexual assault and said that's a domestic issue for you to figure out is not okay. But recognizing that he is a human, his family are humans, 333 on the timer, and that they have also been manipulated and brainwashed into believing that what they're doing is okay. That's what we talk about. Because they don't even realize that what they're doing is wrong. And it's like, we went through this exercise at the retreat this past week, where we got into this like military mindset to see what it's like getting into a masculine, where you're so focused on task, and you're taught to exist in this brotherhood, and that if you don't show up, your brother dies. And it's so easy to get swept up into this like attack mindset, and then you end up doing all kinds of stuff that you're just like, what the hell did I just do? It's like going into war and killing a bunch of people and then realizing like, what did I just do? And that's PTSD, that's trauma, that's a trauma bond, that's a trauma mindset. And it's like, narcissists aren't necessarily born, they're created out of psychological manipulation. So, it's a lot to unpack, and you know, if this is resonating with you because you've been through a lot of trauma too, again, probably because you're here for something bigger and here to share your story. So, please reach out, because your story matters, and I have several podcast platforms that I am working with to share those stories. So I want to hear from you. DM me, message me, send me your story, reach out to me about sharing your story, because this is what we're here to do. Support each other, not be divided. Okay, the alcoholism is dividing us. And it's keeping us disconnected from spirit, and it's keeping people hiding, and it's keeping people numbing down. So, yeah. Addiction comes from not having enough love, not feeling good enough. Yes, you can take them. Thank you. But it doesn't have to last forever. So let's keep talking about it. Let's talk about the stuff that matters. I'm grateful to be alive, because a year ago I was really concerned about alive. And alcoholism was part of it. Being in an unhappy, traumatic situation was part of it. Not knowing how to take care of myself or stand up for myself was part of it. But the things that saved my life, the things that were used against me, in a U.S. justice system that is broken. And those things were plant medicine or medicinal cannabis. Can you tell me how I live in a state where it's legal, and then the court was allowed to turn around and say your use of something that is legal and you have a prescription for makes you an unfit mother? So would you like to tell me that every woman that has a prescription for medicinal marijuana and children is an unfit mother? That's a conversation to have. But I'm grateful to be alive right now. So, cheers to life, cheers to joy, cheers to sharing, and cheers to community. Cheers to faith. Aho. Aho. Amen. It's a beautiful day to exist again. Ooh, I like that little song. Okay. All right. Love you, bye. So, I stopped and spilled some of my food on the street, which the bag was ripping and I didn't ask for a new one, so it's that energy that comes back, and I ate a donut, which I know is not good for me, but this was really yummy, and zucchini noodles smoked salmon, mushrooms, pickled onions, and vegan cheese, and like a dill lemon sauce, or dill and lemon vegan cheese sauce. It was really good. And this place is cute, but I can't have any of this. Gut killer with acid. Gut killer with hormones. Now, I do love these plant-based tea bags. Let's spill some tea about being plant-based. What do you think? Plant-based healing? Love it. And for recycling, for plant-based everything. That's why God put them on the earth. Oh, and this room is cute. It was $100 a night, which is a little more than I wanted to spend it, but at the end of this trip, I wanted to stay in the same spot for 2 nights without having to run around. It's in an area that's got a lot going on. So the royal treatment for me at the end of this trip. Love it. And this is where we all learn to let it go, let it go. Don't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. They all think I'm crazy anyway. Let the cold rage on. Storm rage on? The cold never bothered me anyway. Yeah, when everybody thinks you're crazy already and you're like, hi, by the way, I'm a quantum leaping, time jumping alien here to help increase Earth's consciousness, humanity's consciousness, by being myself. So here I am. I love it. We're going to eat some veggies. We're going to have some tea. We're going to take a shower. Tomorrow we're going to go to Glastonbury, where Avalon was, and see where that takes us, because we're just surrendering. And now Paris keeps coming up, and I'm like, do I extend further and go to Paris? The world is my oyster, and it is yours too. Love you.